100%. It's all just about giving back. It's all just about helping people gain more knowledge in investing, try to help elevate more people to the status of, not just the job, just over broke, right? Where they're actually out there and they okay, well, I don't need to get 4 or 5% on my investment. I can go earn 25, 30, 40, 50%, 100% a year, based on some of the actions I'm going to take rather than living by default.
Hey everybody, Ryan Hodge here, broker of record at the realty firm, Ryan Hodge Coaching and Consulting, and the Integrity Vow. And this is another episode of the Rise Up podcast, new project of mine where I want to bring in valuable contributors to the real estate space and beyond. And today I am certainly stoked to have my good friend Mark Loeffler on, who is one of the higher performing agents that I've met in my career, but also a savvy investor who teaches other people how to invest and build wealth in real estate. This is not theory. This is somebody that's actually done it and continues to do it, somebody that actually walks the talk. Mark, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Well, it's good to see you. I mean, we first met at a speaking event probably close to 10 years ago. And from what I've seen, it's been nothing but a positive trajectory for you, but in some different directions. So maybe if you don't mind, give a little bit of background, who you are, how you got started and where things are today.
Sure. So I've been an investor now for, 19 years, 20 years. I've been a real estate agent since 2009. So it's 2021, do the math, 12 years. When I came in, I was rookie of the year, all that fun stuff. I like my third year, I think I did 100 deals, just over 100 deals on my own with 1.5 admin. And that was back before DocuSign, right? So like faxing and emailing and scanning and all that fun things. And then I built a team. I had about 10 agents on the team. I think we had about 8 admin. And we were cold callers. So we worked with investors and we got residential listings by cold calling. At some point that became just too needy for me. And I just looked at it and basically said, I don't want to be a babysitter anymore. So I said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, and kind of walked away from that and just went back to regular. Well, I kind of retired, but then, I kind of got bored with that because golf season ended. I started managing an office at Keller Williams, did that for a year and a bit. And then I'm just like, I should just sell real estate. I should just work with people who I like. And if I don't like them, don't worry about it. We can find somebody else for you. And, the goal is to make, 450, 500 net after expenses. And that's pretty good life. And
sure,
he's not working. I mean, working to get it, but not working that hard. Right. So, and then obviously on the other side, I owned up until January, I owned about 200 doors. We sold 140 of those. Actually, one's closing today's Thursday, one's closing tomorrow. And then the other 2 close next week. And that'll be the end of it. So that's 140 doors done. So, and then in that time, we've acquired 39 more doors, 39 more doors out in Edmonton or Alberta. And yeah, we're out there now, we're buying, and
pretty amazing,
we just keep rolling. I've written 2 books on real estate investing, rent to own properties, complete Canadian guide, and fix and flip for Canadian real estate investors with my good friend Ian Zabo.
So awesome, man. To me, you are, an investor first, and everything else, real estate, came after that. Is that pretty accurate?
100%. Yeah, I got my license because I couldn't find a good agent. So
sure, good friend of mine, Terry Peranich, out in Edmonton. He's been a pretty savvy investor over the years as well. But he swears that is, the real key to it. How'd you get into investing? And I guess what would you lend as far as insight for perhaps another real estate professional or anyone for that matter that wants to start investing now, because this market has been a little bit scary up here in Ontario for buying, but you must have
Yeah.
some insight on that.
Well, I mean, definitely watch all my videos on my YouTube channel. That'll give you a thing, the Mark Loeffler experience. But no, I started with, I mean, YouTube wasn't really a thing when I started. I started reading books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Dulf to Roos, Real Estate Riches, Don Campbell's Real Estate Investing in Canada. You know what? I joined a lot of networking groups. I was probably networking 3 to 4 times a week, just learning strategies, meeting people, doing things. And yeah, I mean, well, when I first started, I bought 3 properties just from reading a couple books. Just here's what the numbers are. This works. This is a couple $100 a month cash flow. So let's just go ahead and do it. And I was doing BRRRRs before BRRRRs were a thing. So I was doing every property I've ever bought, I've renovated and rented and refinanced and redone it. So
really,
yeah. Well, I mean, I had a little bit of a background in construction through high school. I worked for a contractor, and my grandfather had a commercial glass business, so I worked there too. So I could do a lot of the work. I'm like, well, why am I going to buy a fixed up place when I can buy a crappier one and just put some sweat equity in?
So Mark, you're a pretty relatively young guy. Like, to acquire 200 doors, to me, that's just daunting. How do you equate growing that quickly at this age?
Honestly, it's not even that quick. I mean, there's 25-year-olds who crush me now. It's just, and I mean, for me, is just buying a building or 2 a year. You buy a building or 2 of 20 units a year, you get to 200 pretty quick.
Sure.
You use other people's money, right? OPM, right. Joint ventures.
So that's what I was going to ask. Can you kind of describe how a joint venture works, just for my audience? I mean, we're residentially help investors, but this I think will be beneficial for those that really want to know. Yeah.
So if you have the expertise but don't maybe have the capital or the credit, a joint venture, it works in businesses or whatever. Like, I'm a joint venture partner for people in the rest of our industry. I'm the money there, and they're the experts, right? So basically, they bring what you don't have. So I'm the expert in buying apartment buildings, renovating them, turning them over, getting them refinanced or revalued, higher values, and finding the deals. And my partners, they're the money people. They bring in the money, and we do the deals. It used to be that I would do a 50-50 deal. After getting paid back 100% of their investment, we would split all profits 50-50. Now I'm kind of doing a little bit differently. We do 75-25. So I take 75, give 25 to the investor, but we give an 8% preferred return. So until I give them all their money back, they earn 8% on their money. So if it's a year and they gave us 100 grand, then they get 108,000. And then after they run all their money back and that profit, they still own 25% of the deal.
Right. Got it. And that's something, or the, I guess, the principle or the strategy that you've used for the majority of the time doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Joint venture partnerships have allowed me to get there farther and faster, for sure.
What about, finding people that you trust? I mean, in business or in investing, and certainly I've had the experiences with, business relationships before that have gone a little bit sideways. Yep. When you're dealing with that much, money, how do you determine who to trust, who to, commit to, vice versa?
I mean, I'm a type of a kind of a gut guy. So you get a gut feeling about people. And then, you know what? It's all backed up with lawyers, right? You still spend money on lawyers. But I've always been a handshake type of guy.
Sure.
But you know what? At the end of the day, if you get that feeling, then it's not probably worth it, right?
Definitely.
And I think I have a good gut feeling on most people. So.
Got it. You mentioned that you moved away from, the big team. Was it, just because you wanted to, I guess, scale down, or was it that you wanted to focus strictly on the investment side?
I kind of looked at it and said, okay, I'm making this kind of money and I'm putting this much effort towards it. And it's not the type of work I want to be doing. So sure, my per hour dollar was really high, but it wasn't exactly the work I wanted to do. And then I looked at it and said, okay, well, if I just step back and just do what I want to do, can I make similar money? And the answer was yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now I have a lot less stress. I don't have an overhead of $30,000-$40,000.
Yep.
And it's, so if I take 3 months off and don't do anything, it's on me.
Sure.
I mean, obviously the team would be doing something at that point, but I never got them to the point where they were self-sufficient enough. Like I never got to level 7. I always got to level 6.
Mm-hmm.
So they were never self-sufficient enough that they could function without me.
Mm-hmm. I went through the same experience. I had a team of close to 10 agents, and by the time I got there, it pretty much dissolved on its own, just because I wasn't at that level to really sustain it. My preference is still, selling some real estate, which I actually enjoy doing, and, helping a few people, maybe not 10 or 15 or 20. What's your perspective on, the mega teams? And I know you've been a study of that, but profitable, not profitable, can it actually work? I hear a lot of, people that grow these massive teams, and I'm actually doing an interview with one soon that seems to have it all together, seems to be just a cash cow machine, but sometimes behind the curtain, it doesn't look so profitable.
Yeah. And as you get bigger and bigger, then it is more profitable. Like you have that funny mark when you're in like the $2 to $2.8 million GCI realm, and you're maybe clearing 600,000 to 700,000 after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even that much for some people if they're heavy advertisers. But once you get in the $4 million plus, as long as you're not like crushing advertising, and advertising's cheaper now than it ever has been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're making good money.
Sure.
And it's just a matter of then, okay, who's running your sales team and how you're running that. And I mean, I didn't get to that point and we were always chasing business. We never had the phone we had the phone ringing up for investors because that was
Mm-hmm.
what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But on the residential side, we never had that, right? So
when you look at your career path now, any regrets to it?
No, never.
You're in a space where you feel very good, and it sounds like super intentional with what you're doing now.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if I could move out of where like Canada type thing, I'd probably be gone anyways, and just like there's enough there to retire pretty comfortably. So
sure.
When just gotta wait for my kids to get older, I guess.
Absolutely, I feel the same. When you look at what you're doing now with YouTube, and I've seen that you've grown a pretty substantial following in a relatively short period of time, and YouTube's not an easy one. We talked a little bit about that before we started. What's the purpose? Is it to contribute? Is it to educate? Is it to enroll, more people to invest?
100%. It's all just about giving back. It's all just about helping people gain more knowledge in investing, try to help elevate more people to the status of, not just the job, just over broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're actually out there and okay, well, I don't need to get 4 or 5% on my investment. I can go earn 25, 30, 40, 50%, 100% a year,
Mm-hmm.
Based on some of the actions I'm going to take rather than living by default, right?
Sure. What will people find on your YouTube channel in particular? Because I think that's, definitely an important one to share. And I'll certainly be posting the links for it as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I talk a lot about real estate investing, obviously. I analyze every deal that I ever do. And then I analyze other deals. Sometimes I'll just pick a random deal and analyze it. Just, hey, is this good? I talk about stock options. I talk a little bit. I interview people on there as well who are successful and just they're doing various things. Maybe they're investing in the U.S. Whatever, right? Whatever I want to, whatever I'm interested in, typically I put out there. So I was buying a short-term rental in Canmore, Alberta. So I interviewed a short-term rental expert because I was interested. So I figure if I'm interested, maybe somebody else wants to know about it.
Sure. The channel's taken off really well. Your audience is certainly continuing to grow. Have you ever considered, training, coaching people in that space further, or
no?
It's just
I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer. I consider that trading my time for dollars. And I was a real estate agent coach for, I don't know, a couple of years, just over 2 years. And it feels way too much like a job.
Got it. I've been there with certain clients for sure.
Well, and it wasn't the coaching aspect. It was all the other, but you had to show up every week.
Yeah.
Right. Here's your time every week. And this has, so it's just, that relationship's not for me. I mean, and it's, what are you going to make? $300 an hour? I can go make $300 an hour trading stocks.
You're all about building wealth. And what I reference is happiness and freedom. The freedom factor for you is huge. And it just, you can feel it when I speak to you, man.
100%. Yeah.
So what do you do for fun, man? What are you doing for fun these days?
I'm training for an Ironman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I play a fair amount of golf. I'm at the cottage every weekend and sometimes during the week. YouTube's still fun for me. So that's good. I help people buy apartment buildings. That's fun. I don't know, just hang out with friends and like-minded people and
good stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, I golfed with a guy the other day at my club, and you'll have to come down and play sometime at the London Hunt Club. But he's done, I think, 30 or 40 Ironmans.
Oh, nice.
But the training, like how much time do you actually have to dedicate to training for that event per day? Because he was saying like 7-8 hours a day in some cases.
Well, when you get closer to the event, you do a 7-hour bike ride and you do a 1-hour run after. But I think on the whole, like I'm doing 12 to 16 hours a week right now.
Wow. Still
that's a part-time job.
Yeah. That is a full commitment for sure. Where can people find you for the purpose of YouTube, especially, and your Instagram?
Yeah, the Mark Loeffler Experience. And then on Instagram, it's Living the Dream 40. Living the Dream 40. Yeah, living without the G _the _dream _40.
Got it, man. I will make sure that I post all of these. And I know you're a busy guy. I'm happy to hear all the things that you continue to do. And I certainly follow along. And I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. It's always an honor.
It's my pleasure.
And everybody, Mark Loeffler, check him out as far as, building true wealth, happiness, freedom, and all the amazing things. I'll be sure to post all of his channels and stay tuned for more episodes of the Rise Up podcast.